So for this video, I'm going to be talking about my predictions for the NBA awards for the 2023-2024 NBA season. Let's get into it. First, let's talk about the Rookie of the Year. The Rookie of the Year, I think, is going to be one of the most competitive races in the NBA next season because there's just so much talent coming into the NBA, such as players like Chet Holmgren, Victor Wembanyama, and Scoot Henderson. And I think these three are the front runners for the award. And to make a case for each of them, Chet, he's not going to be the number one option on the team, and he's on a good team, so he's going to have a great record. And I think that they're going to actually be able to make the playoffs this year. Victor, he's going to be able to get all the shots he wants. He's the guy on that team, man. 7'5" demigod 2K build. What else do we need to talk about? Scoot, that man, he's going to have the keys to the team day one, basically. He's going to have to fight for some of his points and minutes with people like, Anthony and Shaden, but I think he's still going to start. Dame isn't going to probably be playing for them. He's going to probably be sitting on the benches waiting to get traded, so the keys are his. He can do whatever he wants. And I don't think he's going to make the playoffs with this team, but he could have a decent record for a rookie leading a team. But if I were to pick, I would pick Chet. Chet just has so much upside. He's going to bring a lot to the defensive end for this team, something that they've been lacking. They've needed a big man for a while, and I think that's a missing piece for this team to take them to the next level. I believe that they're going to be able to make a push in the playoffs. They're going to probably be a first-round exit, but they're going to be one of the mid to lower seeds in the playoffs, while these other two, they're not doing nothing. Let's give it a buck. And, Chet, he's going to struggle offensively to me. I don't think he's going to be anything super crazy, but I could see him possibly averaging 15, 10 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 blocks. And I think that's a perfect rookie season for him, and that's enough to push his team to where they want to be. This next award is, I believe, the hardest one to predict, and it's Most Improved Player of the Year. I believe the 3 candidates should be Mikal Bridges, Jordan Poole, and Tyrese Maxey. And I feel like all of them, they have a great chance at winning this. Jordan Poole, he's in a new situation in Washington. Other than Kyle Kuzma, there's no one he's going to defer to, so he's going to just be shot chucking. He had great averages last year, even though he had a dip in his play last year. Mikal, we saw him get traded. Another person got traded. He got traded to the Nets, and he just looked like a whole new person. We did not see that type of scoring prowess from him in Phoenix, but now we're starting to see it. And what he just brings to that team, they were able to still make the playoffs, even though it wasn't because of him. It was because of KD and Kyrie's record carrying them, but they still made it. And Tyrese Maxey, he's been solid for that team. I don't think he's gotten that position that he needs to really take that next step, but I believe he will this year with James Harden not going to be able to play because he's not playing for Daryl Morey no more, and I don't believe he's going to show up. I believe he's going to sit out, and Tyrese Maxey is going to eat up those minutes. But with that all being said, I have Mikal Bridges winning this award. I have Mikal winning this award because I could see him averaging 26 points for this team, them being a lower seed to play-in team, and also what he provides on the defensive end is something that these other 2 players don't really provide like he does. He's one of the best perimeter defenders in the league, so he's putting that on top of his scoring prowess. Plus, I believe that Ben Simmons is going to, somewhat come back to what he used to be, so that's just going to get him even more shots and good looks. So I think Mikal Bridges is going to win this award. Let's talk about everyone's least favorite award, Sixth Man of the Year. I'm going to keep this cut and dry. I got 3 people. I could see Bobby Portis winning it, Malik Monk, and possibly...
Oh my gosh, my favorite point guard, Chris Paul, man. Chris Paul, man. What's up, man? You ain't Chris Paul?
For the Warriors. And logically, I would say it was Chris Paul because, he's Chris Paul. He's going to be able to lead that offense. He's one of the best passers that we have in this league. He can still get his own bucket. He's just not what he used to be. But I personally do not believe he's going to be coming off the bench. So I would have to give this award to Bobby Portis. I believe what Bobby Portis provides for that team is just insane. He provides great scoring for that team, defense for them, and he's an underrated rebounder in my opinion. So we should be giving Sixth Man of the Year to Bobby Portis. Now for Defensive Player of the Year, this is one of the hardest ones to rank because there's just so much diversity and great defenders in our league. But I'm going to pick all big men because it usually goes to the big men. And for my first big man, I'm going to have Evan Mobley. Let's just be honest, man. This man, Evan Mobley, is a defensive demon. But bro needs to work on that offensive back because it's getting kind of rough. But next, for my Defensive Player of the Year candidate, I'm going to give it to Bam Adebayo. I believe Bam Adebayo, he's just such a diversified defender. He can defend the perimeter. He's great at the rim. And I think he's going to need to be more of a defensive anchor this year because of the pieces that they've lost. And I believe the recency bias of him making it to the finals is also going to help his case, show more people that he's really an effective defender, so that's going to raise him up in the rankings. Now, the last player I have, it's a really interesting situation, but it's Anthony Davis. I believe out of these three defenders, Anthony Davis is easily the best one out of all of them. Only problem with Anthony Davis is he can never stay healthy. He always gets tiny injuries, freak accident injuries, and he's always out for most of the season. And there's going to be a new requirement this year that you have to play at least 65 games to earn any of these awards. So, it looks grim for Anthony Davis, but I full-heartedly believe if Anthony Davis can stay healthy, out of these three, he's the best to win this. So, I'm going to take a risk and I'm going to pick Anthony Davis to win this award. Yes, there is a lot of risk because he's very injury prone, but I just have hope. I've seen Anthony Davis, he's been working out. He looks like he's been taking things a lot more seriously. But obviously, that's the summertime workout things. We see Ben Simmons hooping, pulling it from three, and he can't shoot shit in the season. But I believe it's different with Anthony Davis. So I'm going to pick Anthony Davis for that reason. Last year, he had a great defensive season. He was averaging 1 steal and 2 blocks per game. And on the rebounding side, he was averaging 9 defensive rebounds a game. That was just great for him. Like, he was doing what he needed to do. All he needs to do is just show up. If he can do that, he has this award in the bag. Now, for Coach of the Year, my first candidate would be Quinn Snyder. I believe Quinn Snyder, he's going to do great things with this team. He's a great head coach. We saw what he did in Utah, and he was just able to have a decent group, and they didn't really get the chance to break through, but I don't really feel like that was his fault. And now he has this new team where he's going to be playing and coaching players like Trae Young, DeJounte, and I think them having another year together is also going to help them develop, so it's going to make him look better in turn. And I believe that he has a very good chance of winning this award. He has a solid team in the Hawks. They just got off of John Collins, and I believe it'll be an interesting move for them because they're going to have to move up someone like Onyeka to come start for them, and I believe that's what they need for that team for them to gel because he's a really good defender in comparison to John Collins. So Quinn Snyder is my first option. My second candidate would be Michael Malone. I believe, again, because recency bias does play a role in this heavily. Since his team was able to beat that Lakers team in the semifinals and then go to the finals and they were actually able to beat the Miami Heat and win, it's going to give what he does a lot more prowess. And he's a great head coach, as we saw. He was very involved, trying to keep his team engaged, telling them what to do. And he's one of the top 5 coaches in the league to me. But I believe he will get a lot more consideration. And I believe on top of that, since the Denver Nuggets have so much talent, as in Nikola Jokic, Michael Porter Jr., and Jamal Murray, they're going to have obviously a high ranking. They were the first seed last year. Only thing that's going to possibly take away from him is how good his team is. But his team got worse. So if his team is still able to run up at least a top 3 seed, I believe there's no way that you can't have this man in this conversation. Now, third, we got the G himself, Spoelstra. See, I believe Spo has a good chance because everyone already believes he's either the first or second best head coach in the league. And he was able to take that team to the finals even though they didn't win, even though they had injuries like Tyler Hero and things like that. But what I think is going to help his case is the Miami Heat are not the team that they were last year. They lost a lot of key pieces for them, like Gabe Vincent, he went to the Lakers, Max Strus, he went to Cleveland. And those were 2 key players for them that stepped up last year. And they're not going to have that type of depth or that undrafted, underrated talent that they usually have. That's gone now. So I believe it's going to be a lot harder for them to get wins unless that boy Dame Adala comes over. Then this whole narrative changes, okay? But I'm going to keep it above with you. Big Booty Lowry, Tyler Hero, Hemi Butler, and Bam is not cutting it no more. We need some change up. With the team that they currently have, it's not cutting it. So I believe if Spoelstra is able to coach them to have a higher seed, like a top, I'd say 4 seed, then I think he should get Coach of the Year. Because this Miami Heat is actually looking crazy. Because after their main players, as I stated, they're basically starters, the only other players that they have that are name-worthy are Kevin Love, Caleb Martin, and I guess Duncan Robinson. So with that all being said, for my pick of the year, for Coach of the Year, I got Quinn Snyder. I just believe everything's going to be put in place perfectly for him. I think Trae Young's going to have a better season than he did last year. Him and DeJounte, with their development, it's going to be better on him because, they're going to be playing great. And I believe that they work together pretty decently. So they're going to get a higher seed because they're missing specific players like how KD and Kyrie left the net, so that team's not as good as they were. How the 76ers are dealing with the James Harden situation, so they're probably not going to get much back for him. So they have some slots that they can just move up. Boston, they're still going to be a great team, but we don't know what's going to happen with this Kristaps Porzingis injury, and he's very injury prone, so we don't know. So I believe that this team could easily inch their way up to be a top 4 seed, and that's just going to look great on Quinn Snyder. Now let's get to the trophy that everyone really cares about, MVP. For my first candidate for MVP, I got Luka Doncic. I believe Luka, he's a great player. He's going to get his stats, and that's going to look amazing for everyone. But he does have a new team with him. He does have Kyrie along his side, so he has a second person that he can really rely on. He has a new team around him, to be honest. They kind of went crazy in free agency and did what they could do. But that's why I feel like his limitations is his actual team. The play that he puts out is amazing. You know, he's damn near averaging a triple-double, but his team's not getting it done. Like last year, when he had his normal team and they were still providing defense and he was just scoring, they were like a top 5 seed, I want to say. But the moment that they traded that team and gave away all their depth to get Kyrie, they just dropped. And they didn't even make the playoffs. So that's the only thing that's really holding Luka back, to be honest. Second, we have the 2-time MVP Nikola Jokic. It's just an obvious pick. It's a pick you have to make. Nikola, again, like Luka, he's damn near averaging a triple-double, and if he does it, it's going to be very hard to dispute that he doesn't deserve this award. And he always leads his team to a top seed no matter what. Even the season where he didn't have Jamal Murray and Michael Porter Jr., they were still a decently high seed. So he can get it done no matter what. Only thing that's bad about him is he's very offensive oriented. He's not that great on defense, so he's not going to provide that in that case. But everything else, rebounding, assists, scoring, he's going to give it to you. So Jokic is a great candidate. And my third candidate for MVP is Giannis Antetokounmpo. I'm going to just say it now. I think Giannis is going to win the award. I feel like he's going to have a drive and motivation that we haven't seen him have in a minute, because that they lost last year in the fashion that they did, because that they haven't been able to get to that finals level that they went to. So I believe that he's going to take another step. I think he's going to take this year very seriously. I feel like he's going to be a defensive menace. He's going to do what he does on offense, and he's just going to be coming for everybody in the league. Pause. But I think Giannis is going to be a demon next year. I bet you that man is going to win the MVP award. He just provides something that Jokic can't. He provides defense. Yes, Jokic is a way better passer than him, but Giannis is still a very feasible passer. And I believe that the Bucks might try to make a different type of move to try and elevate their team, because as we saw, Giannis said, if y'all aren't trying to compete for a championship, I'm not going to re-sign here. So it's going to force them to do something and make a move and really commit. So I believe that they're also going to have a high seed. He's going to do what he does. He's one of those players that stays relatively healthy, so he's going to make that game mark. So I have Giannis winning this award. But that's it for the video. I'm glad to see that y'all are really showing love to these videos. Please like and subscribe. I'll be posting more. NBA Sphinx out.